This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the Dunedin City Council announces major changes to housing rules with 1,900 new dwellings tipped to be built. A massive fire destroys an historic farmstead near Wakawaiti. Investigators are still looking into the cause. And a 17-year-old man faces 4 charges following a double fatal car accident near Waihola last October. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Almost 2,000 new dwellings could be built around Dunedin over the next 10 years after the City Council revealed a series of changes to its second generation plan. Many suburbs have been rezoned to enable higher density housing or smaller site sizes. The changes are aimed at ensuring Dunedin is able to provide for its ageing population, along with catering to the increase in 1 or 2 person households.
The days of the white picket fence and good old Kiwi quarter-acre section may be on the wane, with more small units and apartments expected to pop up in Dunedin. The City Council has announced a series of adjustments to its second-generation district plan. The changes, known as Variation 2, were in response to a projected shortfall in housing capacity.
What Variation 2 has done is remove many of the restrictions around the family flats, particularly in terms of who can live in them. So essentially now we've moved to a framework where you can have a minor dwelling of 60 square meters, and that can be consented to up to 80 square meters as a minor dwelling in your general residential 1 and your service, township and settlement areas.
DCC City Development Manager Dr Anna Johnson says the new rules will enable the city to grow, while appropriately managing the effects of that growth. The council's created 12 new medium-density zones. They'll be in Mosgiel, Concord, Andersons Bay, Wakari, Mornington, Belnells, Roslyn, Maori Hill, Kaikorai Valley and Opohu. However, most of the suburb of Green Island has been removed from the list.
There is a land instability area that's a few blocks away, and basically as a precautionary approach, the panel, based on submissions, decided not to extend that area until more geotechnical investigation was done, just to confirm that the boundaries that they did have for the nearby land instability area were accurate.
The council's decisions allow for about 1,900 new dwellings to be added over the next decade. Other key changes include removing restrictions to who lives in family flats and allowing smaller site sizes, more flexibility for development, and better provision for social housing. Anna Johnson says the council has consulted widely over the past few years.
The parties that were involved in the hearings process included a number of surveyors and developers, as well as the regional council. So a lot of what came through the decisions was fine-tuning.
She's confident 2GP changes will also help provide for the city's ageing population, as well as the growing number of 1 and 2 person households. Submitters have until mid-July to lodge any appeals. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Police investigations are continuing in Christchurch after reports of gunshots last night in the suburb of Parklands. Police were called to a fight at the Turf and One Good Horse restaurant car park in Inwards Road on Monday night. Witnesses heard gunshots, but there were no reports of injuries. Police say there's no confirmation of gang involvement at this stage, and no one has been taken into custody. A man said he barricaded himself and his young family in their back room and turned off their lights after hearing gunshots. He says they saw a man in the pub's parking lot standing next to his car with a rifle. A blaze ravaged one of Otago's most significant heritage sites late yesterday. Crews were sent to Matanaka Farm near Wakawaiti to put out the fire shortly after 3 p.m, working into the night.
A house on one of Otago's most significant heritage locations has been destroyed by fire. Fire and Emergency New Zealand attended a fire at Matanaka Farm near Wakawaiti late yesterday afternoon. The farmstead which burnt down was constructed on the original location of whaler Johnny Jones's homestead, who lived there in the mid-1800s. The building was razed to the ground by fire on Monday afternoon. When firefighters arrived, they found the house at the Heritage Attraction and Active Farm well involved with a significant fire. The two-storey residential building had already partially collapsed as the fire crews began work, which continued into the night. Multiple appliances and tankers from Dunedin and North Otago stations attended the scene. The farm at Matanaka isn't listed as an historic place, but is believed to be New Zealand's first European-style farm, with New Zealand's oldest surviving farm buildings. Fire investigators are now working on site, but say it's too early to determine any cause for the blaze. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The man allegedly responsible for a hit-and-run incident in the Catlins earlier this month has appeared in the Dunedin District Court. 50-year-old Alan McLaughlin was charged with failing to stop and ascertain whether a person had been injured or render assistance after an accident. 33-year-old man Ricky McCall was found on the road near Owaka in the early hours of May the 8th, and police said it appeared he might have been hit by a vehicle. It's believed Mr. Call may have died during a short walk back to his home in Owaka Valley Road. Well, meanwhile, a teenage driver who killed two mothers in a crash in Waihola last October was on a learner licence at the time. The 17-year-old driver initially claimed he'd fallen asleep at the wheel, but in court that was described as an attempt to minimise his offending. Police say he showed no remorse to the fatal crash. The young man had been tailgating vehicles and tried to pass the car in front multiple times before crashing into oncoming traffic just south of Waihola. The 17-year-old was granted name suppression and convicted on 2 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 2 counts causing injuries. He was remanded into the custody of Oranga Tamariki and will be sentenced in the Dunedin District Court in August. Whai Akane still to come on the South Today. An international supermarket giant eyes up New Zealand amid a possible shake-up in the sector. And kids get stuck in near Gore to help restore a native reserve.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Queen's Birthday Bash, this weekend at My Mate John's. John's celebrating the Queen's birthday with massive discounts across his entire range. All lounge, dining and occasional is reduced by 25%. There's 30% off his entire range of beds and bedroom, and a whopping 50% off clearance items. Absolutely everything reduced in John's massive Queen's Birthday Bash.
Get that furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need. From answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one, we can help. Call Gillian's today.
Spark your joy with Jazz, the next generation from Honda.
We're a concern Otago.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activities, including Little Walks.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Passion,
drama,
competition,
rivalry, marketing,
numbers, atmosphere,
power, fight,
attack,
intuition,
love,
hate, money,
cash, millionaires,
fans,
and fans.
Oh boy.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. International grocery giant Aldi is believed to be eyeing up New Zealand in a move which could shake up the tightly held supermarket sector. Acting Prime Minister Grant Robertson has confirmed the German-owned chain is one of the players interested in the New Zealand market. If true, Aldi would join American giant Costco in ending the current supermarket duopoly, bringing competition and giving consumers more choice. Aldi is a popular chain in Australia with more than 570 stores and employing more than 13,000 people. It claims to save families who switch to its supermarket $2,400 a year in Australia. A Bring Aldi to New Zealand Facebook page has around 1,500 members, calling for the supermarket giant to open here. Well, after several years of turmoil and cancellations, the Wool On Creative Fashion event is still hoping to be able to strut its stuff once again. A new committee held a high tea recently to discuss plans around how they can get the popular fashion event back on the catwalk. Around 35 people turned up to the high tea event in Alexandra to hear the new committee's plans for the future. The group used the event to try and gain support for a fashion event in 2023, which would be held at the Terrace Vineyards. The Wool On event has had a tough few years with designer boycotts, attempted coups and a struggle around forming a committee. The event looked back on track in 2021, but things had to be cancelled again this year due to COVID-19. Matoda school students have been using their green thumbs to help out the Tūtaro Reserve in Southland. The Gore District Council is working alongside the students to help restore the reserve. The students were set to work digging holes and planting trees to help rejuvenate the area. Many of the children had never been to the Tūtaro Native Reserve. The tree planting was a good way to build skills and connection to the area.
Working mahi tahi is our school motto, so working together on a group project, and as well as it just being involved with the actual tactile and feel of the land, and planting trees that are going to potentially obviously be here for quite some time yet, that they can reflect on and show their kids later on.
The Gore District Council is hoping to restore and entice people back into visiting the once popular spot near Matoda. A Christchurch New Brighton musician is preparing to return to the stage for the first time in 4 years after battling head and neck cancer. Blair Parks' musical career began in the late 80s when his band All Fall Down released a record on the Flying Nun label, and he's been recording ever since.
New Brighton singer-songwriter Blair Parks is famous for not being famous. For 40 years, the talented singer-songwriter has been pumping out bright, catchy tunes. But he admits he is underrated.
Fame and fortune is not really what it's about.
Parks has had a long and storied career. even if he's not a household name. His first band, All Fall Down, released an EP on Flying Nun in 1987. Since then, he's released over 50 singles, EPs and albums.
And I pretty much finish everything I start, and that's why most of them are rubbish. But occasionally, you know, you'll get onto something.
Every day he goes out to his shed and creates music.
Still feeling challenged, and there's still things for me to learn and do, and I think, oh, I love it.
The prolific songwriter estimates he writes on average 3 songs a week, but he admits no one will ever hear most of them.
It's my joy, you know, I do it every day. I can't take time off, I try, I go on holiday and I write songs. I mean, it's not work, it's just great fun, but I work really hard at it.
The 55-year-old is recovering from treatment for head and neck cancer, most likely caused by the HPV virus. He says he's feeling much better and is looking forward to his first live performance since being diagnosed. Parks is appearing on stage at the Loons Club in Littleton next month.
Oh, I'm so excited about playing again. I've had some health. I had cancer, and the treatment from that has sort of basically wiped me out for the last 3 or 4 years.
There's not much that will stop Blair Parks from making music. He says a good song can change your day. In New Brighton, the South Today.
FA Arkane. After the break on the South Today, the Highlanders are into the Super Rugby Pacific quarterfinals, but do they deserve it? And Rapid Rugby takes over Alexandra as more than a dozen schools go head to head.
Drop when you every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Queen's Birthday Bash, this weekend at My Mate John's. John's celebrating the Queen's birthday with massive discounts across his entire range. Absolutely everything reduced.
My Mate John.
Shall I make some scones?
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tanakwe, welcome back. The Highlanders head into this Saturday's Super Rugby Pacific quarter-final against the Blues as firm underdogs. There's been some debate as to whether the side even deserved a spot in the playoffs after finishing the regular season with a grim record of 10 losses and just 4 wins. But Highlanders assistant coach Clark Dermody says they go into the clash with a lot of knowledge about the Blues.
We understand them pretty well. We've played them obviously twice already this year, and we've played them a few times over the last few seasons and done well, well-ish. Didn't beat them this year, but we were in games for a long time, so we can take heart out of that. But yeah, we're fully aware of how hard it's going to be. I think we can take confidence that it is a knockout game. It's really is a one-off. We know we haven't played our best rugby. Hopefully that's in front of us, and hopefully it's this weekend. It's 1 versus 8, and they've won 13 games in a row, so I'm pretty confident we can take the underdog tag. It's going to be a hell of an ask, and credit to the Blues, they've earned everything this year to where they've got to. I hope they sell Eden Park out for a home quarter final. I know everyone's been hurting the last couple of years, and even the Blues have been, so hopefully that happens for them. But yeah, we're going up there. We're going to pick our best team we can and go up and give it a good crack.
Central Otago school pupils had a hectic day outdoors yesterday, rushing around to Alexandra's Molyneux Park. 13 schools were in town to compete in a combined Ripper rugby tournament, which had run into scheduling issues.
Finally on the field after a 2-week delay. Around 50 primary school teams from the Central Otago area strapped on their belts and tags for some Ripper rugby. The kids headed to Molyneux Park for the Dunstan Zone Ripper Rugby Tournament, which organisers said couldn't be going any better.
We had to cancel 2 weeks ago due to the rain and the weather and that, but no frost this morning, no fog. The kids, there's lots of smiles and that, and yeah, no, it's going fantastic.
He says Ripper Rugby relies less on contact compared to other versions of rugby, which makes it more accessible to children.
The first thing it's taken out of is the tackling side of it, which can deter a lot of children. It's good, free-flowing, fast-moving, a lot of tries, no kicking either, so it's all hand and running and very short, snappy games, so the kids get really into it and there's no standing around.
The winning teams will travel to Queenstown next week for an inter-zone Ripper Rugby tournament. In Alexandra, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The Dunedin City Council has announced major changes to housing rules, with 1,900 new dwellings able to be built over the next 10 years. A massive fire has destroyed an historic homestead near Wakawaiti, with fire investigators still looking into the possible cause of the blaze. And a 17-year-old man faces 4 charges following a double fatal car accident near Waihola last October. He's now in the care of Oranga Tamariki, awaiting sentencing. And now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Looking at the situation, a very deep low pressure system moves past the south tomorrow with a strong norwesterly airflow. The winds will ease tomorrow, but Thursday brings a cold southwesterly, putting some snow flurries on the ranges. Heading to the top of the South Island first, Nelson will be wet tomorrow with strong northerlies and 17 degrees. And the rain turns to thunderstorms and hail in Greymouth, up to 16. While Christchurch starts with rain before dawn, then clouding over with 18 degrees. To our southern towns now. Balclutha tops the charts here tomorrow with 16 degrees, while the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore all head for 15, and all with strong nor'westerlies and showers. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes area, Alexandra is in for high cloud and strong nor'westerlies tomorrow and a high of 17. Wanaka and Queenstown will be showery with gusty nor'westerlies and 15 degrees. And over to Te Anau, rain's on the way with northerlies and 14 degrees. To the northern towns next, Timaru will be warm with 19 degrees, but the gusty nor'westerlies will knock you around a bit outdoors. And down to Oamaru, it'll be fresh with northerlies here, warming up to 17. And over to Twizel and Omarama, 15 degrees tomorrow with strong nor'westerlies and a few showers. Down to Dunedin, a spot of rain on the way tonight, dropping to a low of 12 degrees. Tomorrow looks dry but cloudy for the first day of winter, with thick high cloud and breezy northerlies, reaching a nice 16 and down to 10. Thursday brings more of that thick high cloud with lighter nor'westerlies before a strong cold southwesterly change late in the day, bringing rain up to 15 and down to 10 again. And now to Invercargill, strong nor'westerlies and showers tonight, dropping down to 12. Tomorrow the showers clear, so a sunny day with fresh gusty nor'westerlies dying back. Expect a high of 15 and then down to 11. Thursday starts off dry, but don't be fooled. Afternoon rain is on the way and cold southwesterlies will start to pick up. Expect a high of 14 before dropping down to 8 degrees as the low. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, and you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.